Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be making this pant that has a wrap effect at the front. So if this look at what you're interested in, definitely watch to the end. To begin, here is the piece of pattern paper I'm going to be using. I draw out a line on top here. From here I'll be taking all my necessary measurements. Okay, so here I just divided my thigh measurement into two and I added 1 inch. This is how we often get our fold. In case you are cutting directly on your fabric, to get your fold, just divide your thigh measurement by 2 and add 1 inch. That is how I got here. So I'm going to be taking all my measurement from here. All right, let me just label this the out seam so we understand better. Out seam. Okay, so this is the shaping side, this line here is the shaping side, so all the measurements you'll be taking it from this line. All right, so the first measurement I went ahead to take is the flap measurement, which is from the waist down to the flap. In my case I use 9 inches, so this is not the same for everybody. This depends on your size. Okay, you can get your flap measurement simply by minusing your out seam from your inseam, which is the full length. Just measure yourself your full length of your pants from your waist down to the hem of your pants, the out seam. Then you start from your under thigh and also measure down to the hem of your pants, then minus whatever you have from on the inseam, minus it from the out seam. That is how you get your flap measurement, or you can simply take the measurement on your body. All right, so what I use for mine is 9 inches. That is what I have here. So here now, this is the thigh line. Okay, I'm going to label this the thigh line. Okay, so from the thigh line I'm going to take 2 inches up from the thigh line, and that will be the hip line. Okay, 2 inches up from the thigh line is going to be the hip line. This is also not the same for everybody. If you are very tall, you can use 2.5 inches. Okay, so from here as well, I'm also going to take my hip measurement on that hip line. This is the 2 inches I came up by from the thigh line. Okay, so from that part I'm going to measure my hip measurement divided by 4. Okay, now I want it to sink. When I was taking my thigh measurement, I divided my thigh measurement by 2. All right, remember that this is a pant. It's going to have 2 legs and each leg is going to have 2 sides. That's why I divided by 2. But for the hip and for the waistline, we are going to be dividing by 4. Okay, don't get confused by this. So when I divided my hip measurement by 4, this is what I have, and then I'm going to add 1 inch for the sewing allowance. Okay, I'm going to add 1 inch for the sewing allowance. So this is what I have. So whatever I have here, I'm going to input that same measurement here, just so I get a straight line. Okay, and I'm just going to connect here with a straight line. Okay, so this straight line now, let me label this the flap. Okay, can you see that straight line now is going to be the flap? Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is to take my waist measurement. Okay, so if you notice when we were taking the, let me just draw a straight line here for the hip line so we don't get confused. This is the hip line, right? And let me also label it hip. Okay, so if you notice when we were taking the thigh measurement and the waist measurement, we started, and the hip measurement started from the out seam. Remember we labeled this the out seam, started from the out seam to the inside. So now that we want to take the waistline, we're going to start from the inside out. Okay, this is because we want to get a shape here. All right, so when I divided my waist measurement by 4, what I have is 7.5. Okay, and I'm going to add 1 inch, making it 8.5. Okay, so this is what I have as my waistline. So I'm going to connect these points now down to this dot. Okay, okay, so this is what I have for the waistline, for the shaping. Okay, so on the waistline here, I'm going to come down by 1/2 inch, because you know the front our front here is not often straight, it has a little bit of curve. So I'm going to come down here by half of an inch, and that one half of an inch now I'm going to connect it to the tip of the waist here. So now let me label this waist. Okay, so this is what we have, right? So this is what we have now. The next thing we are going to do is to get our curve here, and to get our curve from this angle we are going to go out by quarter of an inch. This is what I have, and then I'm just going to connect using that point. Now this is what we have for the upper part, and then for the leg, what I'm going to do, because this is going to be a free short, okay, I'm just going to take the full length of this short starting from the waist. Okay, I'm going to take the full length, and the full length of this short is 17 inches. 17 inches, but I'm going to make it 19 so we can use 2 inches for the fold. All right, so let me just measure 17 inches and then connect. All right, so now this is the full length and this is the allowance for the full length. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to take my hem measurement. Okay, so for me this is going to be my hem measurement because I decided to use what I have here as my hem measurement. So I'm going to cut it out like this, but this could be you. If your hem is supposed to be shorter, what you could do is to come in by 1 inch on both sides. If you come in by 1 inch from here, you come in by 1 inch from here. Okay, so when you measure here, what we have here is 23.5 inches. Okay, so this could be you. All right, but me, because I want mine to be very free, I want mine to maintain this structure, so I'm just going to cut out straight like this. So let me just quickly trace out what we are going to cut out with the marker. Okay, now this is what we have. This is what we have after drafting out. So we are going to go ahead now. I'm going to go ahead now and cut out. But before I cut out, I'm going to mark out my pocket line. So what I'm going to be using for the length of the pocket is 7 inches, which is what we normally use for an adult pocket. That is what I mark here. And for the inside, I'm going to use 1.5 inches, which is also what we do for the adult pocket. All right. So that is the mark I'm just placing here. We are going to cut this when we are cutting out on the actual fabric. So at this point, I'm just going to go ahead now and cut out. To cut the back, what I simply did is I pinned the front that we already cut out on another piece of pattern paper, and I made sure that there is allowance on both sides and also at the top. This is because the back is going to be longer and wider than the front. Okay, so on the center part of the back part is going to be longer than the front by 1.5 inches. Okay, that's what you see me mark. This is the flap part, remember. So on the flap at the back is going to be longer than the front by 1.5 inches. On the sides is going to be longer than the front by 1 inch on both sides, which is equivalent to 2 inches if you add it together. Okay, so I'm just marking out 1 inch on both sides. On the flap as well, I'm also going to go ahead and mark out 1 inch. So having gotten this, on this shaping side, which is the out seam, is going to be equal for both the front and the back. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and connect all the dots. So this is what we have for the back. All right, this is what we are going to cut out for the back. This is what we have for the front. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead now and cut out, but before then let me label this the front. Sorry, this is the front. so that once we cut out the back, we are also going to go ahead and label it. So this is the back, and this is the front. Okay, so having gotten this, the next thing we are going to do now is to go ahead and cut out on our actual fabric. The wrap effect at the front, what I just did is I placed the front of my pants on a piece of pattern paper like this. Okay, so I just pinned it. The reason why I pinned it is because I just want to trace out all these parts. Okay, I want to trace out the waist part, the hip part, so that I'll make sure that everything is equal, right? So I'm just going to trace out. I'm just going to trace out. And also mark the length. Okay, so when I was done tracing out, I'll just keep this aside. This is the waist part and this is the hip part. Okay, this is the full length of our shirt. Okay, so for the full length of this wrap effect, because if you notice, you're going to see that the wrap effect is longer than the part itself, so I started to use 19 inches. Okay, so this is 19 inches. So what I'm just going to do is to connect this 19 inches because it has to be equal at the side. Okay, the pant and the wrap, it has to be equal on the side. Now we have gotten here, the next thing I'm going to do is, I don't want this to be straight at the front. I want it to have a kind of a diagonal look structure, so that this part is just going to be smaller than this part. So what I'm just going to do, I'm going to connect this point to this point using a diagonal line, just like you see me doing. So this is what we have. I'm going to go ahead and use my marker to make this a lot thicker. Okay, so this is for the wrap effect at the side. I'm just going to go ahead now and cut out. How it's going to look. This is the wrap effect. It's going to have a rope. Then this is the front. I folded in the allowance. This is going to be the actual length of the front. Okay, so if you look closely, you're going to see that the sides are equal. That's because it's supposed to be equal, and then the center is longer. That is the style. Okay, so this is how it's going to look when we are done sewing. All right, so when I'm cutting this, I'm going to add some allowance I'm going to use to fold it. Okay, so having gotten this is all for the drafting of this pant. We are going to go over now to the actual fabric. This is what we have after we are through cutting out on the actual fabric. Like I said, I added some allowance I'm going to use and fold it to get a neat edge. Alright, so this is what we have. This is for the back. Okay, so we are going to place this aside. The first thing we're going to do is to work on this wrap part. Okay, this wrap part is going to, we are going to fold it so that we place it on top of the front piece and put our pocket together. Okay, remember we are going to place this on the front piece before we go ahead and place our pocket, so that we are going to put our pockets both on the wrap and on the shirt. Okay, so I hope you understand this. This is what we have. All right, I'm going to work on this part and on this part as well, so that we are going to attach it together, then place our pocket. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go ahead and fold here. This is what we have now. We have gone ahead to prepare the wrap effect, and this is what we have. We placed it together and pinned it together with one part of the front. Okay, so decide where you place this, depend on what you want. If you want it to be at the right or at the left, but me, I placed mine at the right. As you can see, this is what it's going to look like. So what I mean by we are going to fix the pocket together, we are going to fix it you're going to fix the pocket on the both parts together, the wrap effect and one side of the pant. This is what I mean by that. As you can see, I prepared it together. I folded it as we're going to put the pocket together. Okay, so this is what we have. I'm going to go ahead now and fix the pocket. In case if you don't know how to fix a pocket, I have a video where I showed in details how to fix a pocket. So I'm going to link that video down below in the description down below, so do well to check out that video. And if you watch that video you still don't understand, then tell me in the comment section so I can make a separate video that is going to be just how to fix the front pocket. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead now and fix the pocket. This is what we have now. This is what we have after I was done fixing the pocket. So what I'm going to go ahead to do now is to join the front. I'm going to join the front and the back as well. I'm going to use 0.5 inches or 3/4 of an inch, sorry, or 3/4 of an inch to join the center. Okay, I'm going to join this, and I'm also going to join the back piece as well. I was done joining it. This is what I have. This is the front. Can you see? This is the joining. The lap kind of crosses over to the other side. Okay, so for the back I left a little space on the waist side. You're going to see the reason why I left that space when we are fixing the band. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and shape. I use 1 inch to shape my pants each time I finish I shaping any pants, so you can go ahead and use 1 inch or 3/4 of an inch depending on your size and the allowance you added when you were cutting. Okay, so I'm going to use 1 inch to shape. I'm going to be putting side zip, so I'm also going to leave allowance for the zip, then shape the other side as well. Okay, so while you are shaping, you're going to find out that the back is larger than the front, as you can see here. Okay, so we are still going to shape regardless, because remember we added some allowance to the back. We said the back is supposed to be bolder and longer than the front. So you're just going to shift it and make it a core on both sides while shaping. For instance, you're shaping this side, just make it equal like this and shape. Then bring it to this part, also make it equal to this part and shape. Okay, so after shaping, you're going to go ahead and use the allowance you added to fold the down part. Okay, after shaping it, you're going to shape first. Then after shaping, you fold the down part. After folding the down part, you're now going to go ahead and shape the inseam. All right, this is by the way called the outseam, and this is called the inseam. Okay, you're going to also go ahead and shape the inseam, and then we'll come back and fix our band. So here, this is what we have now. We are going to go ahead now and fix the band. Okay, we are going to be fixing the band the normal way they fix a trouser band. So what I'm going to do is, this is side that's going to have the zip, so I'm going to start from here to measure straight. I'm going to take the measurement like this. Can you see the way I'm taking the measurement? Till the center here. Remember, I left this place open. All right, what I have is 27. Then I'm going to measure from this side the remaining part. Okay, what I have here is 11. So I'm going to cut the first band 7. Yes, 7, right? Or 11. I think 11. We are going to cut the first one band 11 and one band 27. Okay, that's what we are going to go ahead to do. So I'm going to go ahead now to cut out my band. Interface it if you want. I'm also going to interface mine, and then I show you how to fix it. What we have, at first I cut out a piece of fabric. This one is length 27. Remember, we measured this, so this one is 27 and this one is 11, right? So I cut it out with 4.5 for the both of them. Okay, so after cutting this out and interfacing it, I folded it in with 0.5 inches. Then I folded it in again, leaving 0.2 inches on the other side that is not folded. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, the longer part, I'm going to fix this one on this side, right? I'm going to fix it from the right side here, and I'm going to sew it with at least 0.5 inches. I'm going to sew it all around till I get to the other opening. Okay, so after that I'm going to go ahead and fix the shorter one on the shorter side. All right, so after I was done fixing this, I'm going to come up here and show us what the next step will be. So here I've finished joining all the sides, and this is the center back. Okay, this is the center back. It has an opening, right? So the next I'm going to do is to close the opening. Have you seen the way I opened up the band, both the folding that I had on the top? Okay, and I'm going to close it up with 1 inch. Okay, I'm just going to close it 1 inch and join it to the close we already have here. From here, just 1 inch, join it to with what we already have here. So after closing it, we are now going to close the band. The way we are going to close the band, this is the front, right? We are going to use the fold that we have on the band. Just fold it in like this, then arrange this one inside the sewing here, the stitch here. We are going to arrange it inside and cover it like this. Okay, so while we do it like this, we're just going to be sewing here in between the stitch here, just to maybe try to hide the sewing. Okay, so this is what we are going to do, like this. All right, we are going to sew it here in between the stitch here, trying to make the sewing invisible all around. Okay, so after that we are going to fix the zipper and the shirt is ready. Okay, so if you are still watching till now, thank you very much for sticking by, and I'll show you what this looks like.